These rules were standing in the way of companies, big and small, making the decision to spend money building these networks. And building these networks is hard. It's expensive. The heavier the regulatory burden, the less likely they are to do it.
That was FCC Chairman Ajit Pai today on CBS This Morning, speaking about the rollback of the Obama-era net neutrality rules, which begin today. Pai argues that getting rid of those regulations will be good for consumers.
So what is net neutrality and why is this a big deal? Net neutrality was a system of rules that said that all internet service providers were required to treat all internet traffic exactly the same way. So it prohibited practices like blocking internet content, throttling bandwidth, for example, speeding up access to some sites while slowing down access to others, and enabling paid prioritization for specific websites. Joining us now, Derick Pierson, who is the founder and president of Blacktech Week, which takes place every February. Good to see you, Derick. Thanks very much for coming in. A lot of people were against the rollback of net neutrality. Why were so many people against it? What were they worried about?
So a lot of people were against it because it actually de-equalizes the internet. So it allows a provider to dictate how people operate on the internet, what we consume, how we consume it, how we make money. So if you're a small business or if you're a content provider, you no longer have the leeway to compete with the major producers. If you have a startup, your traffic can be throttled, so nobody can come to your site. So that interferes with, yes. So it can interfere with your advertising revenue.
How about just ordinary internet users? How would such deregulation affect just you or I?
Yeah, so now that means it's almost similar to pay for play. So if I have more money, I can dictate what content that shows up on your screen the quickest, as well as throttle the things that you want to view and see. So we no longer have a free internet. Technically, the internet providers and the individuals, the institutions with the larger purses can actually dictate what we consume.
So they could pay more money to an internet provider like, say, Comcast, for example, and in return for that, their customers, people looking for their websites, their product, would be able to get access to them more easily and more quickly.
Yes, that's exactly it.
Okay, so we heard from the chairman of the FCC. We heard a little bit just a moment ago, but he says that net neutrality, when it was in place, sort of got in the way of innovation. Do you agree with that?
No, I totally disagree with it. When you have neutrality, you have a level playing field. That means that innovation can thrive. That means that smaller institutions, new startups can actually create enterprises that can compete with the big boys, can compete with the Fortune 500s. So when you no longer have a level playing field, that means that those institutions who are making billions, millions of dollars can actually stifle innovation and creativity in their competitors.
So Pai also said the rollback doesn't compromise protection for consumers, and he actually says it will increase competition among ISPs. So what are the specific arguments against that?
So the specific arguments, one of which is that the ISPs,
internet service providers,
in order for you to actually compete with them, you have to have the infrastructure. So you have to have millions upon billions of dollars in order to create an infrastructure that can be nationwide. So that there is no competition between ISPs. They're being bought up, like Verizon just bought the local data center here in Miami a couple of years ago. So that creativity is non-existent from the way that he's talking about. So when you see him talk about innovation, he's not talking about startups. You cannot have competition when there is not a level playing field. You have to have money, you have to have influence and power when you're competing with them because of the way the net neutrality was repealed.
So let's talk about startups, especially as it relates to your field. We know that you're the founder and president of Blacktech Week.
Yes.
I'm sure you have a number of members of your organization who will probably be impacted by the rollback of net neutrality. Is that right?
Yes, because
how so?
Again, when we talk about net neutrality, we're talking about the ISP providers being able to throttle the content, to be able to direct that traffic based on speed. So if I were to come to your website or go to this site that, for instance, Kairos, if I wanted to use a facial recognition software, I can then block and throttle Kairos's traffic to their website so that their software doesn't perform as efficiently as, say, Facebook's facial recognition software or Amazon's facial recognition software.
So what is the benefit of this then? Is there any kind of benefit?
There is no benefit. This protects the Comcasts and the other Verizons and the AT&Ts, the telecom providers.
All right, well, it's a controversial rule, and we'll see exactly what happens. I want to ask you about Black Tech Week, because I know that it's in February, but even during the rest of the year, you have road shows, is that what you call it?
Yes, yes. So we have a national tour. So we're going to be at Essence Music Festival. We go to 10 different markets throughout the entire nation. So Black Tech Week is a week-long series of events. Our weekends are two-day events that we go into different markets. Cincinnati, we did New York City. We partnered with Barclays as well as Etsy. We did Los Angeles. So our next one is Essence Music Festival in New Orleans, the 4th of July weekend.
Should be really fun.
Yes, yes.
Thank you so much for joining us.
Derick Pierson, founder and president of Black Tech Week. Good to meet you. Thanks again.
Thank you.